So these journal entries are supposed to exist as a space to be real, raw, and upfront. This is pretty much where I display to you a complete imperfect human being that have flaws and are willing to let the world know it's okay because this right here is the human experience. I personally feel we should all be putting our real selves out there because as far as I'm concerned, this is how you improve and build on those flaws. Something about saying it out loud really magnifies the truth of that particular weakness. Maybe you don't have to do it in a video format like how I do it, but say it out loud. I need to stop doing blank because I can improve and be a better person in this particular area. Now, the focus of today's journal, stop people pleasing. I am the #1 offender when it comes to this exhausting trait. For those that relate, in your mind, you consider this trait as you being a nice person. Sorry to say, but that's a mask. In reality, what you're really doing is you're disregarding yourself to help out others because you silently want validation from certain people. Because believe me, a lot of the times you probably want to say no, but what comes out of your mouth is a yes. Let me say, I do honor that you're a kind person and you're willing to help someone out in their time of need, but most of the times you can really do without some of these favors. Hey, can you help take care of this thing for me? I got a lot going on and your hands, they seem so free. Please listen up. I know you're a really busy person. You got a lot of things going on and you got a lot of places to be, but I really need to lend your car keys. Please. I just need to drive across the earth. That's all. And don't worry, I won't give you any gas money. Scout's honor. Let me borrow some cash, fool. Hurry up. Damn. I guess I'm not a person with a schedule or things to do, apparently, because I'm just waiting for the opportunity to somehow make your life a little easier. This is more telling of myself than the people that are taking advantage of me because I allow it. One has to question, where does your self-love exist if you're willing to volunteer for all this shit that you clearly don't want to do? Are you okay with just being a vessel for other people's problems just to silently complain about it to yourself later? Is that self-love? Is that what it look like to you? The fact of the matter is there's no issue with helping people out every once in a while, but at the same time, you have to recognize when you've been placed in a consistent pattern of helping out the same people over and over again. At that point, you don't value you value them. More specifically, you value their validation. That person, those group of people, their validation means a lot to you. They're the people that you can never cross. They're the people that you can never say no to or never not do something for. This is a psychological prison that you've created for yourself. You need to break out. I want you to reason with me for just a moment. These people that you're people pleasing for, what do you think you're doing for them? Do you think you're being some kind of a superhero? Or do you think that you're helping them out, perhaps? See, look, I used to have a family member that would constantly ask me to drive him around places even when I know I didn't want to get in my damn car. But sure enough, if the bastard is calling, I'm picking up my keys. It's as if I was programmed to do it because I've said yes so many times, and also I didn't have the courage to say no. I felt like I'd be letting this person down or I'd be hurting their feelings and they wouldn't like me anymore. But there was a question that was absent in my mind at the time. Does this person even like you? They clearly don't give a shit because even if you just came home from a 12-hour shift, there's no consideration as to whether you're tired or not. Take me to my female crib. Stat. Whoa, slow down there, asswipe. Let me finish this video first. Anyways, like I was saying, they may not order you around or say it overtly like that, but internally that's how they feel. You've already set a certain precedence, and since that's what they're commonly used to, they're not expecting a no out of you. That would just ruin the natural order of things that they've been accustomed to. I'm gonna be honest with you, you're not helping these people out. In fact, you're actually doing them a disservice. You're not helping them grow and figure out the most important aspect of being an adult. And that aspect is to be your ultimate problem solver. That's right, your own ultimate problem solver. It's one of the most important things that you can learn in this lifetime as an adult. The one thing that we all share is that we have decisions that we have to make. We all have choices that can either lead to us having an upward trajectory or a downward trajectory in our life. The decisions you make right now, what you decide to eat, whether you do that workout or not, whether you complete that homework or not, the decision you make right now impacts the future every single time. If this family member never felt like they needed to save their money to get their own car, it's because they didn't feel like they needed to, because they had me to take them wherever the hell they wanted to go. I was their free Uber. The challenge of getting their own vehicle didn't come for them until years later when they weren't around me anymore, because there were other people around that person willing to tell them no. So as you can see, they helped him get better, not me. You see the problem that I just identified there? I removed the challenge from this individual person's life because there was a safety net in place that didn't make this person feel as if they needed to work out the mechanics of getting their own vehicle until life forced them to do so. So yeah, you're not helping even if you think you are. In fact, you're actually harming them. You're prohibiting growth in another adult because you're allowing them to furlough the work of self-reliance for a pair of crutches. And you know what, the thing that kills me the most about when I used to be a chronic people pleaser is that these people would always tell me thank you when I would go out my way every single time to do something for them. And you would think, right, at some point there would be some kind of self-awareness that the thank yous are one-sided. When's the last time I got to say thank you to you? Because unlike me, you're willing to value yourself. You're willing to say no to certain favors. And boy, oh boy, are you willing to value that sweet, precious, valuable time of yours that you're not willing to expense so freely. But I'd be wrong to imitate your behavior. Your best interest is not in mind, because it doesn't help them for you to recognize that your best interest would be in you just saying no. Therefore, you have to know when to put your foot down and make them respect that you have things to do and you got things going on, so you can't just be a doormat for them. It's ridiculous. In my mind, I always think of those old 80s movies where there was a specific trope where the guy would be walking with his woman, and just as they're about to cross a puddle, the guy would remove his jacket, throw it on the ground so that he can create a bridge for his woman to walk over. By the way, a moment of silence for that level of chivalry, because it is dead, my friends. But think of that image. You're the jacket. Hey, how's it going down there? How does the size 10 Stacey Adams feel walking all over your back? The power of no is a damn game changer. All of a sudden, you reclaim your value. You're able to better prioritize yourself. And listen, just because I'm sitting here journaling these thoughts doesn't mean that I've gotten rid of this habit. Every once in a while, I still give in. Why do I feel bad for not helping people that need my aid? Why do I feel like I'm being selfish when I say no? Why do I feel like that's one less family member or one less friend or one less person in my world when I'm being truthful and telling them why I don't want to do something? My self-awareness has allowed me to notice this habit very clearly. And lately, instead of just using the two-letter word, I find myself explaining. I'm explaining why I can't do this thing, and I'm usually honest too about it. But the thing is, while I'm still prioritizing myself over them, I shouldn't have to explain. A simple no should be the determining factor as to whether I'm going to do something or not. not a long-winded explanation as to why I can't. Somewhere within me, I still need to be okay with not being liked from my direct behavior and just saying no. And it's like, depending on who you are, you'll get a fat ass no in a heartbeat. But for the people that I value, I find myself coming to them with an explanation. But the problem is, the two-letter word, no, was absent. I also want to make this clear. I'm talking about people that are outside of the radius of your mom, your dad, your wife and kids. I'm talking about people that don't deserve a favor out of you whenever they feel like they need to come to you for something. And see, so my honesty in mentioning all of that is because I'm not one of the people that are going to just turn on the camera and make it seem like I'm bulletproof and I figured out all my flaws. This is still ongoing work. Take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, have you been a bit of a people pleaser? And it's okay to admit that. Just take the necessary steps to start working on yourself so you can stop the habit. As I've mentioned in a previous journal before, you can only repair if you're aware. And with that self-awareness of knowing what the issue is, you can now go get the reps in to build that mental muscle to combat that negative habit. One victory at a time. Trust me, it's gonna make us better. Comment down below. Do you run into this habit every once in a while? Or have you overcame this habit? Provide some tips in the comments. Help out the rest of the universe. Let's get better together. I just got a phone call from someone asking me to drive them to a whole nother state. I'm finna go tell his ass no. Matter of fact, hell no.